Vigilante Williamson here, and I gotta be honest. I know I'm the everything is rigged guy. I know I'm the guy who talks about conspiracy theories and everything else, but I was still upset and depressed. Literally, it legitimately triggered depression. There was other things going on, but it legitimately triggered depression when Tarek Skubal this past Saturday, now as of recording this, is actually almost a week later. It took me that long so I could pull myself back out of this rut so I could make this video, because when Tarek Skubal got traded to the Dodgers from the Tigers, I got so upset. I got upset because it's like, I know these franchises and these sports don't care about winning. I know the teams don't care. I know the owners don't care. I know the leagues don't care. I know even a lot of the players don't care. I know that we as fans are dumb and we care more than the teams. But I said, damn it, man. The Tigers had something with this run, and now it's like, damn, it's already over. We're not going to keep trying to come back. And I know the Skubal thing was something we all knew all year. But yes, I hoped against hope somehow we'd keep him and somehow we'd re-sign him. But then I saw a video. So I'm watching Felger and Maz. It just came through my algo. Pause. I'm not familiar with them like that, but it's actually a Boston-based channel. But they're talking about national things, and they talk about Tarek Skubal. And this guy Maz has the conspiracy theories of all conspiracy theories, and it's more evidence of these teams don't care about winning. They care about money. I said this when Jaylen Brown was traded. I kind of said this also when Luka got traded a couple years ago. I can't remember if I did it on this channel or my main channel, but I did that video and everybody got mad at me and blamed Nico. Like, no, the owner made that trade because they don't care about winning. They care about money. And so Maz's theory, and I'll play a clip and then I'll clarify my thoughts on what it is.
Tarek Skubal to the LA Dodgers. Maz, you think this one was an inside job?
I do. I think so. To me, this boils down to one question. Okay, one question. If you ask Major League Baseball, what's more important? Who wins the World Series this year or getting a salary cap? What do you think they would say?
Salary cap.
100%. 100%. Every freaking owner in the game would do it. Everyone, including the Yankees, the Red Sox, and apparently even the Dodgers.
But basically, yeah, he's saying, and they talk about it for a little bit longer, that the league has colluded to make the Dodgers the big scary monster so they can win in negotiations for this upcoming CBA. Now, honestly, I think they kind of failed, because the issue with the Dodgers is not the salary cap to me, even though there's amongst issues. The issue is twofold. One, deferred money. They have $1 billion of money deferred. They have as much as the rest of the league deferred. They're buying these teams on fucking credit. That's fucked up. Limit this or cap this. And the second thing, have a floor. Have a requirement for these teams to pay more than 60, 70 million for the whole fucking team. That's a big issue. I'll get into that a little bit later, but like, if you do these two things, you solve the Dodgers without a salary cap. And I'll tell you why I want a salary cap later. And yes, this is videos a little bit about the negotiations. It's a little bit about me being a fan and these teams not caring, and me wanting them to just put Skubal and everything together. They also trade the other pitcher. His name escapes me because of string brain. I'll pop his name up. I forgot. It's like, geez, man, just keep it together. Get us another run or two. We had a couple more runs, and I get that, you know, we have this off season coming. That's the looming thing. But I definitely think collusion happened, even if it was unintentional, even if it was just the off season, even if it was because they thought of the lockout and they just didn't want to make any big decisions of the lockout. We ended up with the Dodgers stealing a bunch of championships. I think they're going to win this year. I hope I'm wrong. But basically buying / stealing a bunch of championships. And to you people who are 14 years old, we hate it when the Yankees did it. No one complained. Yes, they did. Just because you were a sperm doesn't mean it didn't happen. Or maybe not even a sperm, because you had to have been young. Editor's note. Pause. I mean, hey, yo, what the fuck is happening here? That was crazy. You had to be super young because even the '09 team people complained about. So there's no way, if you were born on Earth past the year 2005 that you didn't hear the Yankees get complained about as, the evil organization and all that other shit. It's like, are you serious? All they did was buy championships. That was crazy. They bought championships in the 70s. They bought it in the 90s and the 2000s. They've been buying championships since the damn league started. Fuck, we didn't complain about the Yankees. You mean the 27 championship Yankees? Are you crazy? We've always complained about them historically. That's why they're hated. When did you weren't born? Like I said, you had to be super young. You got to be Gen Alpha. You can't even be Gen Z and think that. I can't imagine somebody who's been watching baseball. And I'm a casual fan. I'm making this video. I'm a casual sports fan in general right now because it's all evil and it's all shitty and no one cares and we're the only ones who care. But stop saying that. The Dodgers suck, but it's not because they have a salary cap. It's because there's no salary floor. These teams can pay nothing, have a $70 million payroll when there's players making that amount of money. And there's no consequence, even though they get a ton of money from merch and revenue sharing and TV deals and all that. But nope, who gives a fuck? $70 million payroll, they print money, no one cares. Well, raise that floor. I don't want a cap, though. I don't want a cap because I like teams, fans, getting to see if their owner gives a fuck or not. I think having a non-cap, I think the cap is hurting the NBA. I think it's slightly hurting the NFL, slightly. It's kind of making the NFL interesting, but it's also providing a little sense of delusion. There's a lot of teams that just don't give a shit in the NFL, and we are the ones who give a shit. And because there's kind of like this auto system with the cap, with the draft, you end up having a team. Every franchise is going to make the playoffs within a 10-year period in the NFL. Pretty much. As long as that happens, you kind of always artificially keeping teams good and keeping things interesting, including the Lions have made the playoffs. They made the playoffs in the 90s and in the late 2000s, early 10s. In the early 10s, obviously this decade. So even a terrible franchise, Bengals have made the playoffs. They made the playoffs in the 80s, in the 2000s with Chad Johnson, and in the 2010s with the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. Like, you know what I mean? Even moribund franchises are artificially made to get stretches of relevance. Even the Jets went to the AFC Championship game in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? You get some extreme example like maybe the Jets and the Dolphins as far as winning, but I mean, they still will at least have solid teams. They had that Fitz Magic team. So I know this is a different sport. We're talking about fucking salary caps. Sports NFL breakdown coming up. We'll do breakdowns on each division. But my whole point is to say, because of the way the NFL is, you get owners let off the hook for being shitty a lot of the time. In baseball, you get to see right then and there who gives a fuck. If your team is only paying $70 million for the salary, you know this owner doesn't give a shit. If your team isn't re-signing guys, you know your team doesn't give a fuck. If your team does what Minnesota did last year at the trade deadline, where they trade all their players and everyone thinks because they're going to sell the team, they say, never mind. You know your owner doesn't give a shit about you. And I like that being communicated in a world where we're getting scammed. Anytime you can communicate that the team and the franchise doesn't give a shit, I like knowing that. So I don't spend my dollar, my time, my energy. I don't get heartbroken when you end up trading Terry Skubal for basically nothing, right? So we're rebuilding for nothing. And the idea that this could have been collusion, and maybe that's why they got such a sweetheart deal on Skubal, who you would thought, I just knew we were going to get a haul if we had to trade him. But no, he gets a sweetheart deal to me. And some people may argue, well, he's just a rental, and because of the damn offseason and probable lockout, that okay, that was value, but I disagree. I mean, I feel like that one catcher went to the Red Sox. They got a little bit more for him. And maybe, I'm not a prospect expert. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I just feel like we could have got more from Skubal. We could have kept Skubal. We could have kept the run going. I get that this lockout is scary. We don't know what's going to happen. There may be a salary cap. And in fact, I think there's something to the idea that at least some teams, at bare minimum unconsciously, but more than likely consciously, because they don't care about winning, colluded to make the Dodgers the evil monster. Colluded to make the Dodgers something that they wouldn't have been otherwise, or may not have been otherwise. They were able and willing to give up a few championships, let the Dodgers be the bad guy so they can get a salary cap. And to me, they didn't prove their point, because again, if not for these deferred payments, this wouldn't be that bad of a situation. All these fucking deferred payments, $1 billion of credit extended with the players as the creditors, that's bullshit. Get rid of that. Get rid of the salary floor, and that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. You don't have to go through all this bullshit. I think a salary cap hinders the fans' ability to see an owner's true intention. That's my issue with a salary cap, where if there is no salary cap, you get to see. Now, even for that salary floor, I don't even want that to be too high, because I still want you to see, yeah, your owner doesn't give a fuck. Your owner is cool being the lowest spending owner. In a cap situation like the NBA, where there's like a small wiggle room, now everybody's over the cap and everything's all fucked up, like that doesn't work. I think it's hurting the NBA. I think it does help the competitive balance of the NFL, which is the goal, and that is good for the product, and that's all that really matters. It does lead to you as a fan thinking your team gives a fuck when it doesn't. When just the luck of the numbers of the way the NFL is set up has led to you building a good team, and the ownership doesn't care, and no one involved with the team cares. You're the only one who cares. And that happens a lot. That's why you have teams that don't win championships, because nobody really cares. Inside that building, nobody gives a fuck. They just happen to have gathered a lot of talent. They don't give a fuck about cashing it in. I'm not saying that every team that doesn't win a championship that really tried is like that, but I'm saying a lot of them are. And if not them as the team, as the individuals on the field, I think it's rigged, but I don't know how the shit is made. The ownership doesn't. And because everybody's basically spending around the same amount, you can't really tell. You kind of can tell, but I think there's people who think their team cares about winning and it doesn't. It happened with the Jaylen Brown thing, where, if you're a Boston Celtics fan, you might really think that this team is trying to win a championship. They're not. Just like if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, you found out your team's not trying to win a championship. Listen, I know the Tigers got off to a soft start and not the best start, pause. But golly, I just wanted them to try. Because, we had a solid team. We went to the playoffs. Before the year, a lot of people thought we could have been a championship team. I know this, I've ranted about anything and everything, but it's all connected, at least to me. The Skubal trade pissed me off. It made me sad. And it probably was some collusive bullshit. It probably was something with, them trying to get the CBA to where they can manipulate the players. And to me, it still didn't work, because I don't think the Dodgers are the issue. I think cheap-ass ownership is the issue, and credit is the issue. This Klarna paying for players is the issue. And I get it. They've been doing that for years. Manny Ramirez just got his last check. I don't know if it was from the Red Sox or somebody. And, this has been a part of baseball for a while, but it's gotten out of hand with the Dodgers. You don't have to put a salary cap. I need the consumer advocacy and the consumer knowledge of what not having a salary cap actually does, or even having a wider salary gap, pause, does. All right. In any event, I know this is a wild ride, 15 minutes, pause, of ranting. Hopefully I can edit some of it down. Hopefully it makes sense. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.